All right, let's see how quickly we can whip through these. Check your answers with mine. Maybe try it first and then check in, or watch and then try to do. Whatever you do, don't copy. Okay. Rewrite the expression using radical notation. This is going to ask me for the cube root of 7 to the 4th. This is going to ask me for the square root of negative 144. This can be simplified to 12i. This can be simplified to 1 7 comes out and 1 7 is stuck inside. Okay, so we're looking for the square root of 36 cubed. So the square root of 36 is 6. Cubed is 216. How you doing with your friendly numbers? I hope you've been working on that chart. The square root of 10 cubed is going to be rewrite using rational expressions. So 10 to the 3 halves power. This is going to be 5 to the 6 fourths power, and we can go ahead and simplify that to 5 to the 3 halves power. Cube root of 2 is 2 to the 1 third power. Alright, so the solving equations part is the one that I really want you to pay attention to. Our first job is always to isolate our exponent term. 2x cubed is equal to 432 divided by 2, divide by 2, and I have x cubed is equal to 216. Take the cube root of each side, and x is equal to 6. I don't need a plus minus. I don't need an I because I have an odd power. Okay, first I'm going to subtract 7 from each side. So x minus 5 squared is equal to 121. Take the square root of both sides, and I have x minus 5 is equal to plus or minus 11. I need the plus minus because of this even power. When I add 5 to each side, that means that x can be equal to 5 plus 11 or 5 minus 11. Therefore, x is equal to either 16 or negative 6. Alright, simplifying these radicals. Cube root, when I look at 16, I know that 16 is made up of 4 2's. One of those 2's can come out, and one of those 2's is stuck inside. These 3 come out as this 1. All my x's come out as 1, and 2 groups of 3 y's can come out. This negative u just hangs out and waits for some friends. 625 is 25 times 25, 5 times 5, 5 times 5. So these 4 5's all come out as 1. I'm going to add one more u to the mix, but 1 u is stuck inside. 4 of these come out as 1, and this extra 5th u is inside. And if I have 8 v's, I get 2 groups of 4. So when I simplify this and put this together, it's negative 5. That takes care of those 2. U squared, v squared times the 4th root of u. Simplify completely. This means I have a power of a power, so I'm going to multiply. That's going to be x to the 5/12 power. 9 to the 1/2 power times n to the 4/2 power. That's going to give me 3n squared. 64 to the negative 1/6 power means this entire expression is going to go down here in the denominator. 64 to the 1/6 power and n to the 12/6 power. 64 is 8 times 8. That's 4 times 4. And this is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 2's. I only need 6 to simplify. So I'm going to go ahead and have 1 over 2 come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 come out. And I'm going to have the 6th root of 4 left inside and n squared. Interesting conversation about what to do with this. When we simplify completely, if I were to leave it in rational exponents, I would be satisfied with that. This radical under here creates a problem. Let's have a discussion about that. All right, let's look at the back. When we look at the back, this 3 doesn't have a power, so he's fine. Same base add. I need to put this in terms of sixths. 1/2 is 3/6. 4/3 is going to be 8/6. So that's 3b to the 11/6 power. 3 times 4 is 12. X to the 1/2. X to the 2/3. We can call that 3/6 power. We can call that the 4/6 power. That gives me x to the 7/6 power. Oh my goodness, look at this one. So this exponent tells me everything is in the wrong space except when I multiply it by this negative exponent. So let's just take this one at a time. This becomes x to the positive 5/8 power. This y is going to be to the negative 10 over 4 power. So we're going to just go ahead and move that down. 10 over 4 can be simplified to 5/2. Now let's talk about this. My y is squared, or my x is squared, and my y is to the 1/2 power. Alright, so we're going to deal with our x's first. Same base, subtract. So I need to have x to the 5/8. I need 5/8 minus 2. So when we have x to the 5/8 minus 2, 2 is the same as 16/8. That's the same as x to the negative 11/8 power, which guess what? Is going to move it down to the denominator. When I look at y, I have the same base add, so that's y to the 5/2 plus 1/2 gives me y to the 6/2, which is the same as y to the 3rd. All right, let's take a look at this next one. If I have the power of the negative 6, that means that I have 1/2 to the negative 6th power. A to the negative 12/3 is 4th power, and b to the negative 6th power. So guess what? They all move to the denominator. So 1/2 to the 6th power, a to the 4th, b to the 6th. Let's talk about this one. If I'm dividing by 1/2 6 times 2 to the 6th power is 64. So that 64 is going to end up in my numerator. A to the 4th, B to the 6th. Alright, so I distribute this or share it out to each power. So 27 to the 1/3 x squared over, remember it goes to everything, 64 to the 1/3 power, and y to the 4/3 power. Cube root of 27 is 3, x squared over the cube root of 64 is 4, and that's y to the 4/3 power. Alright, so here I have my same base. I'm going to subtract. So x is to the 1/2 minus 1/3 power. This y is to a negative exponent, so he comes up, and that's y to the 2/3 plus 1/2 power. If I put everything in terms of sixths, that's 3/6. This is 2/6, so I get x to the 1/6 power. If I simplify this y, this makes 4/6 and 3/6, so that makes 7/6 power. Alright, let's take a look at 20. If I'm going to take this to the 4th power, that's going to be negative 2 to the 4th power. This becomes d squared, and this becomes e to the negative 8th power. We're going to move him down. E to the 4th, and this becomes d to the negative 7th, because this 4 and this 4 are going to cancel out. Okay, let's put everybody where they belong. 2 to the 4th power is 16. When I look at my d's, these d's are going to come up, and that's going to make d to the 9th power. These e's are going to go down, so that's going to give me e to the 12th power. Didn't need my denominator that long. Alright, to the negative 6th power. We'll take the time to share this out and see what happens. That becomes a to the negative 4th, and this becomes b to the positive 3rd. So my b cubed is in the numerator, and my 4 a's drop. Alright, so this becomes a to the negative 2/3 power and b squared over a to the 4/3 power, b to the negative 1st power. Anything to the 0 power is 1, so that goes away. Alright, so let's talk about these a's. This becomes a to the negative 2/3 power minus 4/3. That's going to simplify to negative 6/3. Negative 6/3 is negative 2. So those a squareds are going to be in the denominator. These b's are going to come up, giving me 3 b's in my numerator. Alright, last row. How you doing? 9 to the 1/2 power, x to the 4/2 power, and y to the negative 1st power. Square root of 9 is 3. This simplifies to x squared, and y drops. Negative 3 to the negative 2nd power, a to the negative 1st power, and b is going to be to the negative 2/3 power. Everything is going to come down here in the denominator. This is going to be positive 9, a to the 1st power, b to the 2/3 power. Same base. I'm going to add my exponents. My common denominator is going to be 12ths. So I'm going to put each x's power into 12ths. This one is 3/12, this is 2/12, and this is 4/12. So I'm going to end up with x to the 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 4 is 9, 9/12 power. And of course that simplifies. Dividing the 3 out is going to be 3x to the 3/4 power. How'd you do?